The man who bought an island. If you won the lottery tomorrow, what would you do? Most people dream of luxury, a shining sports car, a grand mansion by the sea, or a life filled with endless travel and expensive pleasures. But in 1962, a British man named Brendon Grimshaw chose a path that no one expected. Instead of chasing wealth or glamour, he bought something truly extraordinary in Ireland. At the time, Grimshaw was living an ordinary life in England, working as a newspaper editor. But he longed for something more, something simpler and closer to nature. So when he discovered that a small wild island in the Seychelles was for sale, he made a decision that would change the course of his life forever. For only £8,000, he became the owner of Moyenne Island, a forgotten, overgrown patch of land lost in the Indian Ocean. When Brendon first set foot on Moyenne, it was a place that seemed almost inhospitable. The island was tangled with dense bushes and wild undergrowth. No houses, no roads, no electricity, nothing but silence and the cries of seabirds. Many would have seen it as a hopeless piece of land, but Brendon saw potential. He wanted to turn this abandoned place into a paradise, not for tourists or businessmen, but for plants, animals, and anyone who truly appreciated nature. Leaving behind the comforts of his old life, Brendon moved permanently to Moyenne. At first, the work was backbreaking. Day after day, under the blazing sun, he cut through thick vegetation. Slowly, paths began to form. Over time, with the help of a local friend named René Antoine, Brendon transformed the island. Together, they planted more than 16,000 trees, restoring shade, fruit, and shelter to the once barren land. They carved out 4.5 kilometers of nature trails so that people could explore the beauty of the island without destroying it. Brendon was not just creating a home for himself, he was giving Moyenne back to the natural world. Birds returned to nest in the new trees. Plants once thought lost began to grow again, and the forest filled with life. His proudest achievement came when he reintroduced the giant Aldabra tortoise, one of the oldest living creatures on Earth. When Brendon arrived, not a single tortoise lived on Moyenne, but thanks to his care and patience, more than 100 of these gentle giants now roam freely across the island, just as they had centuries before. As the years passed, word spread about the Englishman and his island. Property developers came with offers, tempting dazzling sums of money. A Saudi prince once offered him $50 million for Moyenne. For many, this would have been impossible to refuse. But Brendon never wavered. He knew that if he sold the island, it would be turned into another luxury resort, crowded with hotels, swimming pools, and tourists. The paradise he had spent his life protecting would be destroyed. And so, time after time, he said no. Brendon's dream was not to make money, but to create a sanctuary, a place where nature would always come first. He often said, "Money can't buy what this island gives me: peace, beauty, and life." In his later years, as he grew older and weaker, Brendon worried about what would happen to Moyenne after he was gone. He did not want his work to be undone. So before his death in 2012, he reached an agreement with the government of the Seychelles. Together, they declared Moyenne a national park, ensuring it would be protected forever. Today, it is the smallest national park in the world, but one of the most unique. Visitors can walk along its shaded trails, meet its giant tortoises, and see the thriving forest that one man's dedication brought back to life. Brendon Grimshaw's story is not about wealth or power. It is about the courage to follow a different dream, the dream of living simply, in harmony with nature. His island remains as his legacy, a reminder that sometimes the greatest treasure is not money, but the chance to protect and nurture the beauty of the earth. And so, Moyenne Island still stands, not as a resort for the rich, but as a paradise for life itself. Moral of the story: true wealth is not measured by money or possessions, but by the positive impact we leave on the world. Brendon Grimshaw showed that with patience, love for nature, and determination, one person can create a lasting legacy. Happiness comes not from owning more, but from protecting and giving back to the earth.